Hello, Naomi here, and today I want to talk about the PlayStation Portal, which I just got earlier this week. So this will be in first impressions, although we have played it quite a bit in the time we've had it. I love handheld gaming. It's honestly my preferred method of gaming, so when the Portal was first announced, I was extremely excited. Even though, unlike PlayStation's previous handhelds, the PSP and Vita, which were standalone systems, the Portal is a streaming device that is an accessory to your PlayStation 5. Now, you can already stream the PlayStation 5 to your phone, but for me, it's not a very comfortable experience. I don't like to play games on my phone often, and connecting a controller to your phone for better controls leaves you with a very clunky setup. So the Portal seemed like the perfect solution to playing my PlayStation 5 handheld. Let's begin with the price. The Portal is only $200. If that initially seems steep, consider that a DualSense wireless controller is $75 and the DualSense Edge is also $200. The Portal is essentially a DualSense controller split in half with a screen in between. Because of this price point, I really think of the Portal more as an additional controller, which is why I'm okay with it not being a standalone device. The Switch is currently my preferred gaming system, so I will be comparing the Portal to the Switch because that's its direct competition for my attention in my household. I also want to mention that I don't own any of the PC streaming handheld gaming devices, such as Steam Deck. I like owning my games physically, so I'm not that interested in anything that requires a digital library. Although I do own some games digitally, physical media is my preference. The feel of the Portal is very nice in hand. If you've held a DualSense controller, then it's very similar to that. The distance between my hands felt very natural, although the Portal is a touch wider than the Switch. For me, it's still a comfortable distance. It's a little heavier than the Switch, not by a lot, but after a 4-hour gaming session, my wrists definitely became fatigued. I found myself propping up the Portal on a pillow or in my lap after about 30 minutes. This is something I think I will quickly get used to, so it's not anything I'm worried about, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Something that will be harder for me to become accustomed to is the analog sticks. Although not very different from the DualSense, they are slightly smaller and a little more raised. I do have small hands. I'm frequently able to wear child-sized gloves, but I haven't had trouble with the DualSense controller. I'm able to hold the controller comfortably. With the Portal, I do have to stretch my hand, extending my thumbs to comfortably hold the bumper buttons and analog sticks at the same time. This definitely contributed to my fatigue during my longer play session. My son, whose hands are about the same size as mine now, grew up playing with controllers that were too big for him, so he had no trouble with this. Being a streaming device, I need to talk a little bit about my internet service because how the Portal performs will differ greatly depending on your internet. I have fiber internet with 2 routers, one downstairs, one upstairs. Because of this, we do have access to fast internet throughout the house. We've only had the Portal a couple of days, so we haven't been able to attempt to play anywhere outside the home, but to be honest, I'm not sure if the Portal is a device I would want to take on the go. Having to rely on an internet connection, and then only having access to what is in my PlayStation at home, the Switch triumphs in this area. On the go, I'm still going to be reaching for my Switch. Here's another thing we need to talk about, the family friendliness of the device. We're a family of 3 gamers. Most of our gaming hardware and software we share. On our shared PlayStation 5, we have 3 user accounts. The Portal doesn't simply stream whatever is on the PlayStation 5. You have to log into your user account directly onto the Portal using the PlayStation app on your phone. Then you will have access to stream the PlayStation 5. When changing users, you have to log out of the current user's account, then log into the second user's account via their phone app. In the footage being shown is one of the first times I had to go through this process. I have become quicker at performing these steps, but it really feels like Sony intends for each family member to have their own Portal. Yet, only one device is able to stream at a time. So if my family were to invest in multiple Portals, we still could only play one at a time, unless we took an even further step and invest in multiple PlayStation 5s, which is a rabbit hole I'm not interested in. Another small, interesting issue is unlike the DualSense controller, the Portal isn't able to turn on your PlayStation. If your PlayStation 5 is in rest mode, the Portal will wake it up, but that's just something to be aware of. Something I've been greatly disappointed by is the inability to stream my physical movie collection. I have many physical DVD and Blu-rays, and the PlayStation has been my primary DVD player for some time. I was excited by the idea of being able to watch my physical movie collection throughout my home, only to be greeted by this screen. It says, "Can't display screen on the connected console. The screen contains content that cannot be displayed using remote play." I don't know why this is a feature they decided to block while streaming, but again, I'm just so disappointed. Let's move on to gameplay, because that's what the Portal is all about, playing games. The game I put the most time into so far on the Portal is Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I thought this was a good game to start with because it's a rhythm game, so timing and a good internet connection is important. Also, the Sora amiibo is releasing soon, so I had Kingdom Hearts on the brain. I'm extremely bad at rhythm games because I have no rhythm, but I had a really good time. This is the game I played for 4 hours. I started with a full battery, had the screen on full brightness, and after those 4 hours I had about 20% of the battery left. I only had one instance where the connection faltered, but it was only for a moment and didn't impact my gameplay. My son has spent even more time with the Portal than I have so far. He's been playing Teardown and a digital version of Dragon Ball Kakarot. He's played throughout the house in many locations and hasn't had any issues so far. Having multiple systems in our living room, it has been so nice being able to allow my son to play the PlayStation 5 remotely while my husband and I play on the Xbox using the TV. This is the scenario where the Portal really shines. He's really loving the Portal. I only wish that he was able to pick up and play without us having to switch accounts. I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison with the Switch OLED. There aren't many games I own multiples of for the Switch and PlayStation, but I do have Dragon Quest XI and Ys 8 for both systems. The OLED and Portal screens side-by-side, for me personally, there isn't much of a difference. I think both screens are beautiful. I did play both games on the Portal for about an hour each, and they seem to run really well. With the PlayStation 5 being able to play PlayStation 4 games, there really is a giant library of games open to the Portal. I also want to acknowledge that the Vita is able to stream from the PlayStation 4, which I have used several times, but the Portal is a more comfortable experience for games that weren't designed with the Vita in mind. Because the controls are essentially the same between the Portal and the DualSense controller, you can switch seamlessly between console and portable play. Unlike my experience with the Vita, the controls between the PlayStation 4 and the Vita being different enough, I always have an adjustment period when switching. Now, I know I've pointed out a lot of negatives, but overall, I really think the Portal is something that we will get a lot of use out of in my home. I'm so glad we were able to pick this up and add some flexibility to our gameplay. If you're interested in picking up a Portal for yourself or a loved one, just know that even though at the time of recording this video it's sold out at most places, this isn't intended to be a limited release item. They will become more widely available, so don't give in to scalpers and just give it some time. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful or at least interesting, and happy gaming! Bye!